I started Bee and Flower in 2000 in New York City. And that band started with a core group of a band. And after our first album, the core members sort of split, and myself and the keyboardist and one guy who was a friend who wanted to produce a new record, we moved to Germany. And we restarted the band at that time in Germany. And we made another record there, and then I moved back to New York, and sort of the old members came back, and so then we made a new record, and that was the last one in 2012. The connection was that the guy who wanted to produce the record in Berlin, his name is Toby Dammit, he had connections to a recording studio there that he had done a lot of work in, and he really felt that that would be a really good place to explore this new sound for this record that we did there, which was a symphonic album using a lot of strings and percussion and choirs, and he had the musicians already sort of set up, and he was very tight with Thomas Wiedler from the Bad Seeds, the drummer who played on the album, who I also knew, but by Toby getting involved, and he said, yeah, it's better if we go to Berlin because, we can live there. And then it was meant to be 3 months, but then I stayed for 4 years. It's funny, it's not a German name, it's a Jewish name. It sounds very German, but it's a Jewish name, and was explained to me that the name Schechter, the actual meaning of it is ritual slaughter. Well, when I started Insect Ark before Ashley joined, it was just me. And actually, in the beginning, the first 7-inch that I made, the B-side had vocals on it. And it was already too much for me to play bass guitar and lap steel and synthesizers and do it alone. And the vocals for me were always something that, they somehow added some stress. I never really felt like a singer, ever. Even in Bee and Flower, I didn't feel like a singer. And so I thought when I started Insect Ark, maybe it's good to remove the thing that makes me a little bit neurotic, which was singing, because it's very personal, and if you're overwhelmed in a performance and you try to sing, maybe it's going to be bad. So I thought, just take that away. But even to go past that, I like the idea that it was not attached to a person, that you couldn't, when you listen to it, you can't make a definition that it's a man or a woman, or it should almost be in its own space. And so by removing the human element, which is the voice, the most human element, then you come up with something that really sounds like it can be anything, and then the listener has the ability to make it their own. We met through a mutual friend in New York City, and I had some concerts planned in San Francisco, where I'm from, and I asked her if she wanted to join me. She said yes, and we started playing together, and very quickly thought that it was a really good collaboration, so she joined as a band member, and this is our second tour of Europe as a duo. And we just finished the new record that came out in February, Profound Noir, and we're actually going early next week to Sweden to record again. So, keeping working. We're recording at EMS Studios in Stockholm. I don't see all of it, actually. We get sent some of it to look at, and it's nice. I've only seen a few ones that they didn't really understand it, and so they just said it was boring or something. But people seem to be responding to it well. I think there's a lot of people saying that it doesn't sound like anything else, and that is a compliment. I think both of those labels have a commitment to putting out work that they find valuable and interesting. At the time that Neurotic Recordings put out the Bee and Flower record, they were younger. We were all younger, and they really spread out. They did a lot of experimental stuff, a lot of post-rock stuff, and we really didn't fit the sort of normal, like, neurosis side of it, but they really loved the record, and it was their idea to release it. And this was cool because I come from a metal background, but obviously Bee and Flower was not a metal band, but they, I guess, heard something in it that they thought was, something that would resonate within the metal community. So it's hard for me to hear it if I compared it, but yeah, but people, a lot of people, that's the favorite record of Bee and Flower, and it was mine also, actually. I grew up in a musical family, and I started playing instruments at age 9, and so it was always a part of something inside me. It's a really important element of how to express ideas without language. And I never really questioned it, but it wasn't until I was about 16 years old that I really decided that it was something I really wanted to put my life to that, I think the creative drive comes from the same place, whether it's music or visuals or, text, poetry, writing. I think it's all a form of trying to express something inside of you that is really yours, and only you can define it. For me, the visuals are really involved in my mind. It's very in the same place, like the last question, it's coming from the same place. But when I'm working on a commercial project, I'm basically using my technical skills more than my design skills, because with a commercial, usually they already have their branding and their logo, and then you're more of a, an operator to help them use the tools of animation to help make their commercials. But I don't really work in commercials anymore. So I mostly work on documentary films now. So, but yeah, no, I'm not really interested in commercial stuff. I mean, some of it is really beautiful and really interesting, but I made a decision at one point that I didn't want to really so much be involved in things that further consumerism, because I think there's enough shit in the world already, and we don't need more cars and running shoes and mobile phones. And so I'm really happy working on films, because this is really, especially documentary films, because it's trying to express a message or an idea. And for me, that's really good, because even if it's not my idea, I usually can understand what they're trying to do. We played in the evening, and it was a little hectic. It's the first day of our tour, and the venue we played is very small, and it's really rushing to get things together, and we managed to get it together and played, and yeah, I think it was fine. I was here as a visitor last year, and but not playing, and so it was, of course, an honor to be invited to play. And Ashley's never played it here before either, so we were really pretty psyched to play, yeah. I don't think there's any festival like this in the States. The feeling here is much more inclusive, because I think Walter really wants everybody to really immerse themselves in it. most of the music festivals in the States are, I would say the audiences are also less friendly in a way, or less like inclusive of everybody. Here, everybody, like, you can talk to anybody. And I played in Romania last year with Wrekmeister Harmonies. We played this outdoor festival and it was really nice. The guy organizing the festival was really cool. Yeah, no, it was a beautiful festival. We had to drive through like a cornfield to get there, and we were like, no way, this is not the way, and like we were like lost, like where are we? And then we arrived like at the site, and it was really nice. So that's my only experience being there, and it was positive. So I would love to go back. We would love to play in Romania.